ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, X-Wing players, and potential X-Wing players. My call sign is BatMando, and welcome to our channel. Right now, we are in a series of the extended ships, and our previous video showed all of the extended ships from the Scum faction. And I also had some people ask, how do I keep all my dials? How do I keep all my ships? Well, a lot of it has to do with the fish tackle boxes that you have out there, and you can reuse those. But I also have a couple of friends of mine that have 3D printers, and this one has an Etsy shop. So this can hold up to 20 X-Wing dials, and in which case I'd like to say thank you to that friend. Now, in the meantime, we're going to go ahead and get back onto the topic of our video here, the extended ships. So, in which case, I do know that in our last video, I spoke about this one particular Scum ship, and there it is, where I thought that this one was the second ugliest X-Wing model that they had ever come up with. So, in which case, I'm going to leave you in suspense for a little bit until I reveal what I think is the ugliest ship that X-Wing has ever made. But in the meantime, we're going to go ahead and go in alphabetical order here, and we're going to start with the faction of the First Order. So we're going to go ahead and pick this one up. This is referred to as the Upsilon class shuttle. I'm going to go ahead and tell you that it is mostly a support ship and coordinate ship. But I will tell you that when this thing is actually at range 1, it can be incredibly deadly, as in 5 attack dice, incredibly deadly. So it does have pilots with other unique abilities as well. The wings, as you can see, flip up and then back down again. So sometimes that was a little bit frustrating in the middle of a game when the wings toppled over, and then you had pieces that flew all over the place. So, but in the meantime, that is what it looks like. And here is its dial. As you can see, it has a full stop and some blue maneuvers to help get out of the stress. So in which case, there is that particular dial, and that is the Upsilon. Now we're going to go ahead and move on to the Imperial, and in which case we now have what some people refer to as the gunboat, the Alpha class Star Wing. And there was a rumor that they were going to bring this back into 2.5, and we saw some photos that led us to believe that at a certain convention, but we haven't heard anything since then. So in which case, here we have the Alpha class Star Wing. Now, I'm going to tell you that this ship is fast, but when I show you the dial, you're going to say it doesn't look fast. That's because it can slam, and you can put advanced slam on it and be even more dangerous, because its top speed is a 4 straight, but you can't slam with that. So in which case, its top speed for slamming is going to be a 3. So yes, ladies and gentlemen, this thing was very dangerous. It can handle missiles, it can handle torpedoes, and it can handle flying in and killing everything and getting out of the way as well. So, in which case, we'll go ahead and put that down. Sometimes when you put them in pairs, they were referred to as the rowboats. Now we're going to move on to probably the Upsilon's predecessor, and this is the Lambda, as you may recognize it from the original trilogy. This is a nice support ship. It is a large base. I would sometimes make the argument that it shouldn't need to be a medium base, but because of its wingspan, I assume that's why they made it a large base. I will go ahead and tell you that this particular ship was very useful for transporting both Vader or Emperor Palpatine, and in which case they had that Force token that could change a lot of things, and it also had other crew members that could be just as nasty in a dogfight, but you try to keep this in the back so that you could keep those crew members alive. So there's its wings fully out, and now we'll just go ahead and put it back where it belongs. So it also had a rear arc in case you did not see that. So now we'll just go ahead and put that back in place. And then we move on to the TIE Aggressor, which is essentially it looks like a TIE bomber that had a turret installed into the back. And yes, it did have a turret. I do not have the turret piece out here for this video. So I can tell you that these ships were fun. They usually worked better in pairs. I will also tell you that this particular pilot had the ability to go ahead and shoot twice if the first shot did not hit the first time. So in which case that was pretty cool. So now we'll go ahead and put that back down. Oh, I forgot to show off dials. So this is the dial for the Lambda. It did have a full stop. It has a lot of blue, as you can see, but it also doesn't get around very fast. And as you can see, the dial has seen better days on this one. So in which case we'll go ahead and put that back down, put that back in its place. And then we have the TIE Aggressor. TIE Aggressor did have the ability to move, but as you can see, its dial was a little bit limited when it came to blue. So if you were doing anything with a 2 blue, you were mostly good unless it was a 2 hard to clear that stress that you may have gotten. So now we're going to go to a very, very dangerous ship, ladies and gentlemen. When I say this ship is dangerous, I mean this particular pilot has a loadout of 25 and 2.5 now. And that can be very dangerous if you think about it. Because yes, I believe it can hold on to barrage rockets. It can have saturation salvo. It can have mons and so much more. It looks like a normal TIE bomber on steroids because, well, it is. So there you have it. Now, let's go ahead and have you take a look at the dial here. As you can see, it even comes with a full stop, so that's kind of interesting. It does have some blue to help it out, but that blue does not move very far, so you would have to watch out for it. And obviously, it could hold on to a skill bombardier and make life very unpleasant. So we'll go ahead and put that back down. And then we have one of my favorite ships, the TIE Phantom. And in which case you can see that it is there. One of my favorite pilots in this one was Echo. Echo had an ability similar to Guri in the Star Viper that we talked about in the last video. And that is when it decloaks, instead of barrel rolling straight, this one barrel rolls or boosts forward on a 2 bank. That's right. So when it decloaks, you could be here, and then you could end up right there. So it made it a very unpredictable and deadly ship, especially if it got behind you. So now, in which case, we'll go ahead and have you take a look at its dial. Not a lot of blue, and it does have 2 red on it, so make sure you don't get this thing stressed. So we'll go ahead and put that away right there. So now we're going to go ahead and get into the Rebels over here. So the Rebels, we're going to go ahead and start with the Azutuk. And ladies and gentlemen, my opinion, this is the ugliest ship that X-Wing has ever made. So in which case, this is the Wookiee gunship. I'm sorry, I just look at it and it almost looks like some kind of offspring of the Mist Hunter. And it also kind of just looks like it doesn't belong in this X-Wing universe. It just looks like something out of another cartoon. So, but those are my own opinions. So what I will also tell you is I do remember flying up against this thing and it just would not die. Its defense or something just kept it from ever being able to blow up. So it was incredibly frustrating, and it has a full stop. So it does have a limited amount of blue, as you can see right there. If you're going straight, you should be fine as long as it's a 1, 2, or 3. So, but otherwise you need a 1 bank to clear any stress off of this particular Wookiee. So that is the Azutuk. And now that the suspense is gone, we can talk about what I think is a very deadly ship. And it does not have its turret, but I will go ahead and tell you that this is the BTL K-Wing, sorry, BTL S, is that B or 8? 8, sorry. Now you got me wondering if I even can read right now. So can't tell if that's supposed to be an S or a 5, and in which case we'll just call it what it's normally called, the K-Wing. K-Wing was very deadly because it could do bombs. It also had turrets. It could do a lot of munitions. protons, or I'm sorry, torpedoes and all sorts of missiles. So very, very deadly ship. And the pilot that you wanted on it was Marina, and she had an ability that was not always welcome, especially since she could kind of get shields and then give away shield, or not give away, but make shields disappear just to increase her dice count. This is the K-Wings dial, and as you can see, not a lot of options on this thing, and in which case I'm going to tell you that you could not get it out of there fast enough. And you also can see that it had some blue, but otherwise not a lot of options on that K-Wing. So now we get into the E-Wing, and this particular pilot is Cornhorn, which annoys some other pilots or opponents that I've flown before. And in which case, this is its dial. You can see that it has a lot of options, but you got to make certain that you get this thing to not be stressed because it doesn't have a lot of blue. Yes, if you're going straight, you're fine, mostly, except for the 5 straight. But otherwise, if you need to take a bank, then you're needing to take a 1 bank just to keep the stress off of this thing. You'll notice that its cannon is right there on top. So in which case, probably blinding the pilot as you fire off this thing. So we're going to go ahead and put this down and get to our last ship for the Resistance, the Star Fortress, or as we just like to prefer to call it, the Resistance Bomber. This thing, obviously, with a lot of World War II influence on it, but I'm also going to tell you that it did come with a turret. I also will tell you that I think that it is a target magnet. In other words, everybody's going to go ahead and shoot at the thing. And it either worked really, really well for you, or it worked terribly for you. And there was really nowhere in between. Yes, it had a stop. Yes, it had some options, but it's not going to be a very fast ship for the size and everything else that you see it in. So there you have it. And that is all of the extended ships that I have in my collection here. Of all the ships that I think, well, there's still the rumor that this is coming back. I wouldn't mind if the Landed came back. I also wouldn't mind if the Aggressor came back. But I do not think we're going to see the Punisher come back. And I definitely don't think that we will see either or possibly any of these Rebel ships come back. But I wouldn't mind it if we did see the K-Wing return. I just don't think that it will. So that is everything that we have for this video. Thank you for watching, and please click like on the videos that you like, and please subscribe to our channel. We very much appreciate you watching, and we look forward to having you come back to watch more videos. And as always, BatMando out.